What up? What up? What up? So we're back. We just got done talking about Jesse Minter and the Michigan Wolverines, how he's left Ann Arbor for LA to follow Jim Harbaugh for the same gig. Congratulations to him. I'm sure his family will appreciate the pay raise. Also talked about Nick Saban, the Mercedes dealership king. And Nick Saban's new job at ESPN. The 72-year-old will be a football analyst on the college game day pregame show. So happy for him and his family. Going to stay right here in the college ranks. Going to talk about Iowa. This one comes out of Football Scoop and Zach Barnett because Iowa's offensive coordinator, he's threatening to be aggressive. And for those of you all who don't know, Iowa football has the worst offense in the world. And the new coordinator, he's seeking to go ahead and change that. Now, Kirk Ferentz, he rode his son, Brian, director of the football, all the way to the bottom. And Kirk Ferentz is the head coach and his son. Now, we did a segment on Iowa and how bad the offense was and how atrocious, and how they had a running joke about his offense and not only docked him $50,000 in his contract, but also put all kind of stipulations about him getting the money back inside the contract, where he had to have so many yards and he had to have so many points that he wasn't going to make it. Iowa's 3.94 yards per play was dead last in FBS. No one else was below 4.3. The Hawkeyes offense averaged an even 14 points a game. That's sad. And with these new teams in the Big Ten, that is going to be very perilous. They have to put up points to stay with an Oregon. You have to put up points to stay with a Washington. We've covered this. And then not only that, but you're not guaranteed to cruise your way to the Big Ten championship anymore, playing teams like Northwestern, never playing the Michigans, never playing the Ohio States of the world. I mean, we went over their schedule. We went over who's up to, like I said, jump all over the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's not going to be chokeout football where the first to 14 wins. That's not going to happen. And we'll get more into that when we come back from a quick 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern at App Stupid. Roast the Host. Roast the Host goes down May the 10th. That's Mother's Day weekend. It is our live inaugural show. You can take shots at me. It's 2 minutes of put downs, or you come for my head. A couple of things. We've got some rules. Number one, don't be racist. Okay. Number one, don't be racist. You got 2 minutes. You can take shots at me. You can take shots at my staff, my mom. You can take shots at the way I talk. You can have fun with that. But one thing we won't do, you cannot take shots at my dad or my wife and my kids. That's all off limits. Okay. Second, you have to be a subscriber to the show. Also, you have to have a picture. You have to be a person. You got 2 minutes. And like I said, the listeners are going to be judging. The listeners are going to be laughing. The listeners are going to be donating. And the winner is going to get a cash app so they can take the special lady out of their lives on Mother's Day weekend. Could be wife, could be girlfriend, just could be your daughter. Like I said, it's Roast the Host. Make sure you show up. All right. So beyond Iowa having the worst offense in FBS, they also have they're last in the nation with a mandated 25 points. This is horrendous. Now, Iowa announced that Brian Ferentz would not return on October 30th. Kirk waited until after Iowa's bowl game, a second consecutive shutout loss, to begin the search, which took nearly the entire month of January. During that time, Kirk Ferentz said he'd identified 10 to 12 candidates, had conversations with 6, and interviewed 4. No shade to Kirk, no shade to Captain Kirk, but let's just be real, bro. You're a bad judge of character. because you knew your son was god awful. And now you're telling me that you identified 10 to 12 guys, talked to 6, and interviewed 4. Nah, not having it. You you've done a good enough job doing what you do. You sit still. We will hire an independent committee to go looking for these people and give the good folks of Des Moines something to cheer for in the fall. Jesus Christ, that dude. In the end, Tim Lester was just the right amount of new and familiar. Similar in a lot of ways to the way we've operated, yet a lot of new perspectives. Now, that's words from Captain Kirk. Lester, 46, has never worked with Ferentz. Well, wait a minute. So, Captain Kirk just said in one breath, he's similar in a lot of ways that we've operated, yet new in perspectives. And then Lester fires back with, we've never worked together. This is just comedy from the jump. It writes itself. And in fact, was still in college when the longest tenured active head coach took a job at Iowa back in 1999. The former Western Michigan quarterback played in the XFL and the Arena Football League before entering coaching in 2000. Since then, he's worked in high school football, head coach at the Division II and Division III schools, served a stint as a defensive coordinator, and then spent 4 years as a Power 5 quarterbacks coach before returning to Western Michigan as head coach in 2017. He spent 2023 as an analyst for the Green Bay Packers, studying the offense the team was about to face. So he's got substantial offensive knowledge that could help propel Iowa to I want to say a decent, respectable season. But I don't think that Captain Kirk is ready to concede the reins, because if he was, he would have done that a long time ago and got rid of Brian. He would have got rid of Brian, and he would have went with a play calling that was a little bit more experimental, a little bit more risky. But he was content to keep that 4.3 yards, them score 14 points, them being a laughingstock in offense, playing in a Power 5 conference and having the worst yardage and scoring points in FBS history. Just a bunch of I don't know. Somehow I think these two are going to clash and bump heads, and ultimately I feel like Captain Kirk may have just hired his replacement. So we'll get more into that. We'll bring this to a close after a quick 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Burn. Burger King, have it your way. BK, have it your way. Visit the good folks down at your local Burger King. Try the Whopper or any Whopper signature series. Burger King, have it your way. Download the app or visit the good folks down at your local Burger King. BK, you rule. Okay, so back to Lester and Captain Kirk down in Iowa. Again, I'm not talking trash on this. I'm just having fun. So, like I say, it's lighthearted. If Captain Kirk is the worst thing that you're going to be called all day, then get over yourself. Okay? Just get over yourself. So Lester, he starts in, and Lester, he goes, we're going to be a physical football team. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to be aggressive. Okay, so let's just stop the tracks. Nobody has said Iowa has a problem with discipline. Nobody said that Iowa has a problem with even being physical. Nobody said any of that. I don't know how he got that out of, we just can't score points. We just can't move the ball. It's because we're not disciplined. Discipline. Physicality. Come on, man. Knock it off. Aggressive in everything we do, from the run game to the pass game to the keepers to the RPO to the tempos. One thing I've learned in my time as a quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator coach, and head coach at the time is every level. It's about putting your players in the best position to succeed. Now, if that sounds silly to you, it sounds silly to me because, trust me, he read like a Clint Eastwood movie in that. Again, before you put your foot in your mouth, you should have taken a look at the recruiting that was coming in the door. Talking about RPOs, you can't run RPOs with slow kids. You don't know what's coming in the door. You don't know what's staying. You don't even have a transfer portal presence. And then you're sitting here talking about RPOs and aggressive run games. I can't even tell you who was the running back last year for Iowa. Let's just be serious. It's like, man, get over yourself. Get over yourself. The recording of the press conference did not include a break for Lester to explain the meaning of RPOs and tempo. Again, exactly. He's sitting up there doing his best Clint Eastwood. Physical, aggressive. We're going to do it, bro. And then the people looking at him and I was like, huh? What you talking about, boy? What you talking about, boy? Oh, it's so much comedy. So they had a break for Lester to explain the meaning of RPOs and tempo to a certainly confused Hawkeye fan base. But one can assume that omission just a technical error. No. Those people like their football 4.3 yards. Those people like their average of 14 points in college football. They love being last. Now you get here talking about shaking things up. Who's this boy? Captain Kirk. Yeah, he's familiar with what we're doing. Dude, none of this makes sense. This is a folly of stupidity. This is cartoonish at best. This is almost that scene in that movie Zoolander when you had Ben Stiller and Owen looking at that computer and they was like, man, this is comedy. Why would everybody knows what the read player option is? And he's sitting here trying to explain RPO to people. And then we're going to be aggressive. We're going to run. They don't know what you're talking about, bro. We're just physical. We're disciplined. We're aggressive. Yeah, knock it off. So yeah, this was crazy. Oh, this was crazy. Oh my goodness. So Captain Kirk, how do you feel about it? Captain Kirk is, like I said, he was open to it, for profound culture and the formula that has produced 0.500 or better seasons 20 times in 22 years. Now, see, I think that's where people hang their head on. And when you get into these numbers, when you get into the number pimping, because really Iowa has had winning seasons. They just have bad offense. And as long as you can have out of 22 seasons, 20 of them be winning seasons, what do you, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, is this a distinction without a difference? Or is this just your preference? Do you prefer the high flying, a lot of numbers on the board, but you can't win games, but you threaten? Or do you trade that in for slow to middling, paint drying on the wall offense, and you're winning games? Get to make up your mind. But the good folks of Des Moines, let me know how you feel about it. You've got an overly aggressive offensive coordinator working with a guy who's been in coaching longer than he's been playing football. Hopefully, this will turn out for the best in the new Big Ten, and we'll see where it goes. This is Big Vern and App Stupid. We got one more story, and then we will be right back.